Okay mga galamay, welcome back sa another video. Okay, so bakit ako andito ngayon? Well, nakita nyo naman sa titulo, sa title na mag-react tayo sa video na to. Oo, reaction video to. So, yan, papanoorin natin to kasi talagang na-amaze talaga ako dun sa sinend ng tropa natin na si Jason Patrick. Salamat Jason sa pag-send ng link. Sabi niya, yun nga, yung title nung yung video na to is ginawa ng Business Insider. And racing pigeon are so expensive. Yun yung title nito. So, bakit nga ba mahal ang mga, alam mo yun, mga kalapate na pang race compared sa kalapating hindi pang race. So, malalaman natin yan. And, eto na yun.
Racing pigeons aren't the typical bird you'll find on the city streets. And these pedigree birds can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. In March 2019, Armando the racing pigeon sold to a bidder in China for over 1.4 million.
Imagine mo 1.4 million para sa isang kalapate. Diba? 1.4 million. Well, dito, medyo na-amaze na nga ako sa for like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 na presyo ng kalapate. Yung mga sikat ng natin, mga fancier dito, diba? 100,000 hindi pa ako dito sa Pilipinas, hindi pa ako nakakita ng ganung klaseng price ng kalapate. Kasi ang karaniwan talaga na price ng kalapate, kasi nga sabi ko, lumaki ako na nagkakalapate, pero lumaki ako na hindi ko alam paano mag-race or paano tong racing process, paano to, kasi yung pooling, yung mga term na ganon, yung loading, mga ganon, talagang naging ignorante talaga ako nung pinasok ko yung alam mo yun, yung mundo ng racing. Pero ngayon na, ang dami ko pang hindi alam. Pero sabi ko nga, sooner or later, malalaman natin yun. Ang importante kasi is hindi tayo tumigil na matuto. Okay, 1.4 million.
So what is it that makes racing pigeons so expensive? Pigeons are some of the oldest domesticated birds. They've been kept for thousands of years and used for food, sending messages and entertainment. They're appreciated not only for their speed, but for their looks too. And there are over 800 breeds of pigeon, many bred specifically to be exhibited at shows. Messenger pigeons were used across ancient Egypt and Rome, and their height isn't new. In his book, Natural History, the Roman author Pliny the Elder wrote that many persons have quite a mania for pigeons, building towns for them on top of their roofs, and taking pleasure in relating the pedigree and the noble origin of each. And in about 50 BC, a single pair of pigeons was sold for 400 denarii, almost twice the annual pay of a Roman foot soldier at the time. And right up until the invention of the telegraph in 1844, homing pigeons remained the fastest way to send messages across long distances. The birds could fly 1,000 miles and reach 90 miles per hour over shorter distances. They even played a big part in the World Wars. Thousands of pigeons were used in the First World War alone, and submarines, minesweepers and tanks often carried pigeons on board to send urgent messages back to base. Their role in the war wasn't limited to delivering messages though. In 1907, Julius Neubrunner, a German pharmacist who used the birds to deliver medicine, invented a miniature pigeon camera. And this camera was used
Ginawang taga-deliver ng gamot dati.
Damn, son,
ito yung maganda
where'd you
din sa
find
Business
this?
Insider. Ang dami mong malalaman talaga na mga idea, na mga yun nga, na madami ka talagang malalaman dito. Kaya subscribe kayo sa kanila, alam mo yun, panoorin nyo yung mga ibang videos nila, ang dami nyo matutunan dito.
Briefly in the war for aerial reconnaissance. These days, you won't see many pigeons delivering messages, but the birds are still used in races across the world.
Our birds are like pedigree dogs and cats. My father's got, we have the same family of birds for the last 40, 50 years. From, generation to generation, great-grandchildren, from the pigeons my father had 40, 50 years ago. Come on, Annie. Get inside, Annie. Come on. I got one in here I call Anne-Marie after my wife. When I was racing her, she used to follow me all over the roof. Come on, girl. Get inside. Come on.
Ito yung mga generation ng mga magkakalapati talaga. Simula sa mga kalololohan nila no? Yung mga breeder siguro na mana-mana na.
It was a simple thing to have down the garden. It was a way of racing. They used to gamble on them. Whereas if you had horses, took up room, was a lot more involved. You only needed a very small garden, a tiny loft, and you could raise pigeons. Anything else, you couldn't do it. And I think that's why it became so popular.
After the
ganda ng slow-mo. Damn!
It's transformed. Its rising popularity in China and the huge surge in wealth there has led people to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in the birds. And the prize money for winning some of these races can be equally high. Chinese bidders have spent millions of dollars on pigeons over the last few years.
Grabe. Ito yung bolt. Nakita ko to.
1.4 million only because of a bidding war between two wealthy Chinese buyers.
Yung bolt, nakita ko yun. Nakita ko yun dati. I mean, alam ko yung bolt.
While the number of British pigeon fanciers has fallen from 60,000 in 1990 to about 21,000 today, there are now 100,000 fanciers in Beijing. Taiwan alone has 500,000 fanciers, and these numbers are rising. The sport is even rapidly growing in Iraq, where a pigeon recently sold for $93,000. This recent surge in value has caused problems. In 2018, two men tried to win the prize money at a pigeon race by smuggling their birds on a bullet train. And in Taiwan, 5 members of an organized criminal ring were arrested for kidnapping valuable racing pigeons and holding them at ransom. This new expensive world of pigeon racing across Asia has changed the reputation of the sport. And for the
Okay, so yan din yung mga parang medyo issue dito sa Pilipinas or dito sa community ng mga fancier. Kasi yun nga, may mga narinig ako about ipitan, about sa nandadaya, yung iba hindi pinapalabas, yung alam mo yung mga malalakas na mga fancier, yung mga ibon nila parang iniipit daw, ganon. Yun yung may mga issue dito na may mga naririnig akong issue na ganon. So, I don't know kung tama yun or kung nangyayari talaga yun. Well, hindi ko pa naman na-experience and sana hindi ko ma-experience yun.
With the money to buy the prize winners, these birds are a status symbol. But for those who've been doing it for years, it's not about the money, but the dedication and love of the sport.
Totoo!
And nobody can really tell.
Ako, masasabi ko, for me, it's not about racing. It's, kung paano ko lang alagaan, alam mo yun, aalagaan ko. As long as umuwi sa akin, masaya na ako dun eh. Additional na lang siguro if ever, alam mo yun, makasali tayo sa race and if ever papalarin, alam kong pangarap lang yun, pero if ever manalo, 'di ba? If ever maka-place, alam mo yun, sobrang additional na lang yun. Sa akin, umuwi lang sa akin yung kalapate na malayo ko tinos or malayo binitawan, eh, sobrang okay na sa akin yun.
Perfect pigeon. You could pay a fortune for a pigeon. I think there's one been sold in China. The chances are it may never breed a decent pigeon. Who knows? Where you could buy 2 pigeons for £10 each, they hit on and they could breed you winner after winner. That's what makes it so fascinating.
I mean, I had one bird my whole she flew 1,000 miles in 3 weeks. I put her in a 200, a 250, and a 500. The best race I ever won was the 500-mile race with my Hall of Fame hen. She'd come home 9:15 at night in the dark like a bat.
Grabe.
I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and all I heard was the whisper of the wind. Boom, she hit the coop. I jumped out of my shoes.
Mamahal niyan. Grabe, ang mamahal nun talaga. Ganong klaseng tawag ito, mga kalapate. So, ang dami kong natutunan doon sa video na yon. And hindi lang doon sa hindi lang yung price range talaga, yung ano talaga, yung tawag nito, yung presyo talaga ng mga kalapate na nananalo ng ilang kilometro, ilang miles talaga. Imaginein mo kung gaano kalalayo yung mga race nila doon. Sa atin dito, Naga, Bicol, Tacloban, ganyan yung mga pero sa kanila talaga 500 kilometers sa atin, pero sa kanila 5,000 o umaabot ng 5 miles pa yun so yun nga, sobrang lang ako, na-fascinate ako ngayon sa mga racing. And yun lang muna para sa araw na to, and have a great day ahead. And eto na yung mga shoutouts nyo. Okay, sa bagong video doon ako nag-shoutouts. And motovlog daw, motovlog. Okay, last 3 comments or first 3 comments muna tayo. Sabi ni Pigeon Racing, ay. Sabi ni, shoutout kay Legend Master Gaming, shoutout sa'yo. Galing kay RJ, kamusta na yung mga alaga mong lamok at langaw? I don't care. Idol, shoutout naman. Labanan ng gagamba yung bahay ko kasi pa. Zaldi TV 2019. And shoutout din kay Brent Amil. Idol ba shoutout naman from Naga City, Kamsur. Shoutout sa'yo, Brent Amil. Salamat sa panonood and sa suporta. Always watching your video, Lodi from KSA. Lodi Pasipa naman ng bahay ko. Thank you. Okay, and Real Talk yan bro, sabi ni Gagambino PH. So yun nga, mga kalabay, have a great day and peace out. Happy Gagambino and let's go. Peace out.